Welcome back, come on, come in. Sit back, relax, playing games with friends. Done for the day, with nothing to do. Then watch some games, come hang out with Plupachup.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Plupachup, and if you're new here, hey little mama. With games getting more and more, and holy f*** Nintendo, more expensive, I figure a lot of us will be diving into the backlogs we've amassed over the years to save some money. So I spent some time looking at my own backlog, which is... yeah, it's bad. Listen, I know, it's bad. Those Steam sales run my pockets, fellas. Anyways, I spent some time looking through my backlog, and I chose 10 games that I really want to finish in 2026, and I thought we could check back in around December to see how it went. My goal for this year is to finish more than the 42 games I finished last year, and these are 10 that I'm most looking forward to getting around to. So sit back, relax, grab a snack while we look at the 10 ploopy-ass backlog games for 2026. First up, we have a game that I've actually started playing over on my Twitch stream recently, Resident Evil. I am playing the HD version, not the original. If you like watching people play video games and just want a chill place to hang out when you've got nothing better to do, come say hi. And as always, if you miss a stream, there's a good chance the VOD will end up over on my second channel linked below, which is where I upload all of my stream VODs and compile them into organized playlists of all the games I beat. Anyways, yeah, a common theme for me last year, if you watched my most recent video, my ranking every game I beat in 2025 tier list, was identifying series that I enjoyed that I had actually not finished many titles in. With Resident Evil, I have nearly beaten 4 and 5, but the only game I've actually finished is 7, which really tested my limits for horror games when it came out. So with the release at 9 this month, I thought it would be cool to check out where the series started, and I decided because I love the GameCube to go with this version of that game. This spot is really more representative of my goal to get more into the series as a whole and knock some of the heavy hitters out before 2026 is over. I really do love the aesthetics of these survival horror games, which is an interest I developed over the years playing so many games inspired by Resident Evil and Silent Hill. So here's to hoping that I can at least knock out 2 of these games in 2026. Well, speaking of Silent Hill, I have played and completed quite a few of these already, but my playthrough of the older ones did stop after I beat the original second game. I know 2 is supposed to be the pinnacle of the series, and while I did start 3, it is a game that I eventually put down and I never saw the credits roll. This year, I would like to pick this game back up and finish it so I can eventually finish all of the Silent Hill games. It's been a little while since I finished Silent Hill F, so I'm starting to have that itch to dive back into the wacky world of dense fog, crazy critters who want to end my life, and characters who are fighting and most of the time losing to their demons. What better way to start than to pick up the next game in the original 4 that I have yet to play? Like I said, I did start this a few years ago after playing the original second game, but I ended up switching it out for something else as I just wasn't a fan of what felt like an increased emphasis on encounters and monsters to avoid from the other 2 titles. However, after playing, enjoying, and kind of feeling the same way about Silent Hill F, I am excited to check another Silent Hill game off of my backlog this year. I got into the Souls and Souls-likes pretty hardcore last year, but I haven't actually finished a Souls game. I would like to get around to the 3 Dark Souls eventually, so I'm aiming to start the trilogy at some point this year and knock it out so I can open the world of Dark Souls to myself. Of these types of games, I tended to play more of the parry-heavy ones so far, so I'm going to be returning to the more rolling and dodging-centered gameplay for the first time since I beat Elden Ring last year. I'm sure it will be a frustrating time, and I have no doubt that I'll need frequent breaks, but I am excited to get into what has become a legendary series at this point that birthed an entire genre of challenging video games. For Christmas, my sister and mod of the channel, Kami Uso, got me a modded Game Boy Advance, and ever since then I've been tearing through my room to find every Game Boy Advance game I own. This year, I really want to put that Game Boy to use and return to one of the first consoles I remember getting that was just mine and I didn't have to share with anybody else. So I figured I could do that by also returning to one of my favorite anime series growing up and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. I actually do own and have found my copy of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards, and I'm really excited to jump into this nostalgia trip of a game. I remember the rules of this one being a bit weird, like those weird Yu-Gi-Oh! Beta rules. For instance, some of the cards have type advantages where even a super strong fire monster will die if it does combat with a far inferior water creature that doesn't have nearly the same amount of attack points, which is obviously not something they moved forward with. Still, I think that playing through this will be a fun little trip down memory lane, and hopefully I can check this off my backlog finally. Sometimes what feels like a great game just loses your interest and not by any fault of its own. And sometimes it's after you hyped up its demo and a video and made it sound like you were going to finish it immediately upon its release. Sorry, my sweet prince. So I did buy Granblue Fantasy Relink at launch, and I really enjoyed the beautifully animated action combat, but for some reason I ended up dropping this for something. What was it? Okay, so yeah, this year was pretty loaded for me in terms of games I wanted to play, and unfortunately, Grand Blue got dropped and kicked to the side for cloud endgame mostly. I did love what I played of this game, and I had a ton of fun, so hopefully I can finally go back to it and finish it in 2026. I have owned most, if not all, of the mainline Yakuza games for some time, and the last one I played was Kiwami 2. I got about 12 hours in and dropped it, but I loved Zero and Kiwami because of their characters and the twists and turns of the story, and while the gameplay, particularly the fighting, did get a little bit repetitive, the narrative payoff of those two titles was enough to keep it extremely engaging and entertaining. From what I remember about 2, it was much of the same, following Kiryu and all of the drama he manages to engulf himself in, while he still tries to hold on to his honor and his morals, and I'm really hoping to knock out some more of these games so I can finally get to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, because I've owned that game for almost a year now and still have not even taken the plastic off of it. Kiwami 2 is one of the games I'm pretty set on trying to finish early this year, so I'm hoping to hop on it pretty soon and knock out a couple of games in this series at least by the end of 2026. I love the mainline Monster Hunter series, and I love creature collector games like Pokemon, so on paper, this is a perfect mashup for me. I had started the first one not too long ago, but figured this may be a fun stream series, so I may restart this and stream it over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BlueChoop. Go follow so we can hang out. My initial thoughts are that the art style is adorable, and it still holds up well today because of its stylized approach, and the rock, paper, scissors combat is a unique approach that kind of sets it aside from other games in this genre. That's pretty much all I have experienced so far, as I'm only about an hour in, but hey, maybe this year I'll finish this game and its sequel to prepare for the new Monster Hunter Stories game that's set to release in 2026. So I've mentioned before that I have played some version of each of the 3 modern Persona releases, these being in order the original 5, 3 Reload, and most recently 4 Golden last year. I have not played Persona 5 since 2018, maybe 2017, I can't really remember, though I have wanted to play Royal for quite some time now. I am planning on starting it once the month of February is over, because I have some content plans that won't allow me to play it, wink wink. But as soon as March rolls around, I think getting into the definitive version of 5 sounds like a great idea. Persona has been one of my very favorite video game series since I finished the original 5, and I'm ready to jump into that 100+ hour slow burn adventure where a bunch of wacky teens take on a bunch of kooky adults. Let's see if we can drop the Kamoshida files and finish Persona 5 Royal in 2026. This is another game that I've either already started to stream at the time of posting this, or it may be coming soon. If you watch my video where I ranked every game I beat in 2025, you will know that last year, while I love Pokemon, I really haven't finished very many of the games at all. I've played many of them and decided that I wanted to beat all of the mainline games in release order. Last year I knocked out the first 3 generations, and this year I plan to jump right back in, starting with Platinum, where I left off. I owned Diamond as a kid, and I ended up losing it before I could beat the 8th gym leader, so finally ticking this generation off will be a nice nostalgic win for the year, and will hopefully catapult me into finishing more of these games before 2026 comes to a close. I really only remember the music and Pokemon selection from this game being some of my favorites in the whole series, so I will be going in mostly blind as far as that goes. Looking forward to knocking out Pokemon Platinum, hanging out with you guys in chat while doing it, and hopefully getting a couple more Pokemon games checked off the list in 2026. I'm actually about 10 hours into Final Fantasy VI already, and from what I have played, it has been an absolute blast. The different fighting styles of each of the main characters and their various mechanics make the party feel so diverse. For example, Sabin's heavy-hitting martial arts techniques require inputs that resemble a fighting game, which when input incorrectly, cause his attacks to do nothing and miss. The story has also been extremely engaging. I found it really interesting that only one side of the conflict has access to magic and technology that puts them far ahead of the rebellion in that sense. It feels very Star Wars in that way, where the bad guys have a bunch of cool stuff and the rebels are relying on pulling stuff together, using scraps, and their mission being for the good of the realm to bring powerful people to their cause to help. So far, it's a great game with really cool party members and a combat system that feels familiar but different at the same time. It's really shaping up to be an excellent time. I can understand why people think this is one of the best games in the series, and I'm sure that this will be one that I will finish soon. Hopefully I don't eat these words later, and when we check back in December, I finished it. Please let me finish it. And that's about it. That's the 10 games that I really want to focus on finishing this year. They're not really in a particular order. Just wanted to give you 10 games that I am looking at beating, that I really want to focus checking off my backlog, especially in a time in the world where games are getting more expensive. It's time to start looking at the games that we've collected, fellas. I think it's time to start looking at the hoard. Anyways, let me know what games you want to finish this year, or games maybe you already have finished. I'm kind of lagging behind. This time last year, I did finish a couple games in January. I've not finished any games yet, so I'm hoping to hit February pretty hard. Anyways, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Love you guys. Stay safe. Till next time. Peace.